And I can wait a little bit longer.
Commissioner Hinkle here.
I don't, gonna check it out. This for- sure.
Oh.
Okay, how are you?
Go
I have 9 o'clock. We'll call the Harrison County Commission meeting for Wednesday, May 17th to order. If you would join us in the invocation and pledge, please.
Join me with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Hinkle, are you on Zoom? Commissioner Hinkle, are you on Zoom? Running a little behind maybe.
Okay.
Is there anyone signed up to speak? Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly?
Is there a sign-in process?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess we can put it on. Flying on the your information. So. And
Are you here for the 9:20?
Yes.
Okay, you don't need to sign.
Oh, we don't?
No,
Okay.
just if you want to, anybody wants to speak publicly.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
But.
You get to speak, but you have an appointment. He doesn't have an appointment.
So, Mr. Davis,
Yes.
would you like to go ahead and speak, sir?
Do you come up somewhere?
If you'd like to come up, you can.
Just identify yourself for the record.
That I will.
Okay. And tell us where you live.
My name is Maurice Davis. Currently Ambler, Pennsylvania, near the Philadelphia area. I former resident of Clarksburg, star baseball player, etc. But I'm here to raise concerns about what you all have already passed. That Stonewall Jackson statue is still there. And I would think that I want to set precedents that it should at some point in the future be taken down. So my argument is that I hope to raise a compelling argument at that. Stonewall Jackson, as many of you know, Civil War veteran, and he had taught his slaves, at least a couple of them, somebody might have been his good friend, to read and write against the law. Attended the West Point, as we all know. And I would think that when he was finished, he probably realized that the war was lost and he wanted no recognition. So therefore, why is recognition still given to somebody who lost? It reminds me, as a a lifelong Pirates fan, that would I cheer for Brooks Robinson over Danny Murtaugh's team in Pittsburgh? Absolutely not, because they lost. And I'm talking about the World Series. A couple times the Pirates beat them. And so my point is, why would we continue to recognize somebody that actually lost? I think that we need to move in another direction, because this is symbolic of what is happening in this country right now regarding the January 6th issue, because I'm sure that Stonewall Jackson would recognize that potentially he would have been tried with treason for going against the government. Therefore, maybe, just maybe, we ought to reconsider what has happened with him. Now, I know you guys have already made a decision, as I said earlier, but I think that at some point it ought to be reconsidered, because the fervor that's coming out of this was based upon when they started making this movement to try to get him recognized. That would have been about 100+ years ago through the Daughters of Confederacy. The Daughters of Confederacy pushed and pushed and pushed, probably led by the men. But the point is that the statue was put up right before, I think, the Brown decision was rendered, which would have eliminated Kelly Miller High School, which is close by. Therefore, Kelly Miller probably should be recognized in some way, shape, or form for making sure that my father was educated, who was in the last class of Kelly Miller. My dad's name was Maurice. Some of you probably know him. And the thing is that we should look to maneuver that thing out of here. If anything happens at Kelly Miller High School, I'll be back here or the city council if something's not going to happen to keep Kelly Miller going in some way, shape, or form. I understand it's the education building now, but it just galls me to come home and think that people are still being indoctrinated by Stonewall Jackson. Here's what I mean. When I was growing up, and I live in the Philadelphia suburbs right now, I'm president of an NAACP, and Lord knows everybody's cheering for me to come down here and try to do what I can do to make sure the statue disappears. I know that someone from the southeastern part of this state has said no, but the southeastern part of this state is where the Turner Diaries originated, the Bible for the Klan and the other white supremacist groups. Therefore, they want to make sure that potentially the South Side rise again. That's what happened when they tried to when the statue was out there, and the threat would have been Kelly Miller High School should be gone. I mean, not be gone, stay there to keep segregation intact. Therefore, I think that there ought to be a serious look at not trying to change things around. My last thing I will tell you is this. I too was indoctrinated, because as I traveled the country, I would say I'm from Clarksburg, the home of Cyrus Vance, the father of the young man who was prosecuting a lot of stuff in New York. Maybe even the January 6th, okay. And when I thought about it, would be Cyrus Vance, Stonewall Jackson, my grandfather, Bert Alexander Davis, and my dad, who had nerve to put a restaurant in downtown Clarksburg in the 1970s. Therefore, if I was indoctrinated, as well educated as I am, then everybody can be indoctrinated with the belief that this is a positive thing. I started thinking, wait a minute, this is the goal of those Daughters of the Confederacy groups, etc. And I think that it ought to be relooked at again, because otherwise you too could be indicted symbolically, if nothing else, for continuing the threats that end up being a January 6th like event. Thank you.
Thank you. No one else has signed up to speak. Correct.
just these two gentlemen who are at 9:20.
Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak public? Anyone on Zoom wish to speak public? Okay. Hearing none, we have a 9:05 estate hearing, Mary Claire Cox. Mary Claire here. It's Mary Claire. home. Okay, I'm sorry. I just said that. Is,
Bill Ford on the
who are we looking for?
call. Right, Bill Ford is the attorney for the
Oh.
state.
Okay. Bill, are you on Zoom, Mr. Ford? Sorry. I just saw the bill. Is there anyone here to represent the estate of Mary Claire Cox?
Looks like Mr. Ford just came on.
Mr. Ford?
All right, I have arrived. I am sorry for the delay. Bill Ford's here. Can you hear me?
I can. Did you want to speak to your petition? Or your request?
Are you ready, Ms. Thomas?
Yes, I am, Mr. Ford.
Hold on. Can you see me?
I see your name.
It doesn't matter, Mr. Ford, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to get the video to go, but something's not letting it come on. In any event, we have filed a petition for the county commission probate division to recognize a true and accurate copy of the last will and testament of Mary Claire Cox and admit the copy into probate. The will was prepared by me years ago, but it was witnessed by the witnesses who executed the sworn statement at the end on page 4 and 5 of the will. And under the laws of the state of West Virginia, being that the witnesses have testified under oath to that affidavit that they witnessed Mary Claire's signature all at the same time, and that this particular will was her last will and testament that she desired to be eventually probated. So we have filed there. I think everything meets all the statutory requirements. So we would ask the county commission to accept and admit the copy that I presented with the petition as the last will and testament for the estate of Mary Claire Cox.
So you have been unable to find the original.
Correct. I don't know if you're aware of the history of Miss Cox, but we were before this county commission with a petition like 4 years ago. She was declared mentally incompetent. Judge Bedell appointed Wes Banco as the conservator for the assets of her estate. I know that Wes Banco went into the house. They tried to gather various items that they thought would be part of the estate eventually, but they could not find the will itself. The house was then emptied and sold. the money added to the conservatorship. That was about 2 years ago. But at this point, no, we could not. I mean, they certainly looked for the original and they could not find it. But we retained a copy. Not only that, we filed a copy of this will with the original conservatorship petition 4 years ago as well.
Is that all you have?
That would be all I'd have right now.
Is there anyone else here that wishes to speak to this? Hearing none, what's the pleasure? We can go ahead and probate the copy.
Go ahead, probate copy. Okay, motion probate copy.
Are you going to do the order, Bill, or do you want us to have the clerks just use the clerk's form?
The clerk's form should be sufficient.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Okay, I figured it. Well, motion's been made to probate the will, the copy of the will. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Good to talk to you, Bill.
Hey, thank you. It's so good to see you again, Susan. You guys be safe up there.
Hey, you
Thanks,
too.
thanks,
Take
Bill.
care. I'll see you all in about a month, probably. I'm up back and forth up there all the time.
Okay, thanks for the warning.
Thank you. Yeah, very good. We'll see you later. Appreciate it.
I'm joking. Okay. Let's see. It's 9:17 and 9:10. We have a funding request, YMCA, Britton Walker. Is there anybody from the YMCA here to speak to their request? On Zoom or in person?
Motion approved, $1,500 be allocated to this one-day event, please.
Okay, motion's been made to approve the $1,500 for the one-day event. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, at 9:15, another estate hearing for Walter, the estate of Walter John, and I'm not gonna tear that name up. To accept a copy of a will in place of the lost original. That's the one I looked at. That's what you're here for. Okay. Because I looked at one. I didn't realize we had.
That's okay. The last name is Kolczynski.
Okay, I just didn't want to, but.
I didn't know I was gonna have to
You
speak,
don't.
but once again, a copy, we cannot find the original. We'd like you to do whatever you need to do to accept the copy.
Motion to do as stated by the young lady.
Motion to probate the copy of the will. Any further discussion? And the clerk will has a form that can be prepared. And then once that's done, you can take care of what you need to do. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. It wasn't that bad, was it?
But I'm gonna leave that.
Okay, you are free to go. Yes. I don't blame you. Okay. See you, take care. Okay. Number 2, consent agenda. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved, please.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Number 3, payroll change notices A through D.
Motion approved A through D, please.
Motion to approve number 3, A through D. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 4, minutes and or amended minutes of previous meetings, A and B.
Motion approved A and B, please.
Motion to approve 4A and B. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 5, requisitions, purchase orders, invoices as shown on A, vendor list of payments.
Motion approved A, please.
Motion to approve 5A. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, motion carried. 9:20, Ron Eagle Veterans Council.
I don't know, Dave shared the documents with you. I've been in discussion for a few months with Dave Hinkle. I was
No,
just-
sir, we haven't received.
You have it? Oh, you don't have it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So, Marion County for numerous years has had a Veterans Council that worked in conjunction with, their, Marion County Council. And what the Veterans Council does is it brings all the veterans organizations together as one in Marion County and then presents to the council, Marion County Council, as to either the issues that are evolving around the veterans out there or any items that need to be brought up as far as funding issues and stuff of that nature. Harrison County doesn't have one. Myself and Joe Early have started the process in starting a Veterans Council, if so chosen by the Harrison Council to have one within Harrison County. It's an option on the table if you're choosing. I know Dave Hinkle's on board. We've talked about it extensively. His wife's got a heavy veteran family, and it's a big deal to her to have a Veterans Council in Harrison County. We would basically be the extension of your right hand as to what goes on in Harrison County and all the veterans organizations out there, the VFW, American Legion, the Honor Flight, all of that activity would run through the Veterans Council to be presented to yourself as to what options are on the table and needed.
Yeah, so part
Time
of this,
out, guys. Can you identify yourselves for the
Okay,
record so we can get?
I'm Joseph Early, resident of Harrison County, lives in the city of Bridgeport. Ron Eagle. Okay, Bridgeport as well. So, I'd like to add, to segue off of, Ron's statement is, the purpose of the Veteran Council is not to usurp the authorities of the independent veterans organizations. They will continue to maintain that. What we want to do is facilitate the information from all those different organizations. Because right now they all operate disparately and have this going on. Each organization has their own niche in the veteran community. But what we want to do is aggregate that information flow to be able to act as a conduit for the county commission. We ask for your support in whatever resources can be rendered to help us facilitate that communication and help us realize here in Harrison County, what we desperately need is recognition of our veteran population. Okay, because that is something here in Harrison County, in Bridgeport, for example, there is a Veterans Memorial. We have the VFW across the street, okay? The Veterans Parade happens here in Clarksville on Veterans Day, every year. And then as well as Memorial Day. So we want to look at that to capitalize that and recognize our veteran population. I myself am a 20-year retired veteran, spent 20 years in the regular Army and retired in 2002. But when I came back here, it's one thing that I've seen is if I want to go find information about a veteran, I have to go to that organization. I don't have a central place to go. So that's what we're asking is the commission to, I guess in lack of better words, is to sponsor the Veterans Council. And then we can work in tandem to get this information out to make Harrison County a bastion for veteran recognition. Okay, and the selfless service that veterans have supported throughout centuries of our country. Okay, so from the revolution all the way up to the present day.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
What we're supposed to do at this point. Come back later.
Come back, because I didn't have it as an action item, so.
We'll look into this and
Okay.
probably have it on the agenda at a later meeting. That work? Okay. Getting thumbs up from behind you, so.
I agree with everything they said.
Okay, Jim, I appreciate it.
I just come to support that and this.
I kind of figured, I wondered why you were here. I saw that. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Okay, number 6, exoneration corrective tickets, joint property applications, A and B.
Motion approved, A and B, please.
Motion to approve 6A and B. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 7, consideration of approval of a project fund requisition for the payment of cost associated with the project to be financed from proceeds of the Series 2019 bonds issued for the Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District Series 2021 A and B Development District Number 3 White Oaks Project Number 2 and Series 2008 Charles Point Number 2 Northland Bay A through C.
Motion approved A through C, please.
Motion to approve 7A through C. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Review number 8, review, discuss, consider GSA update, potential executive session pursuant to 69A4B9 to consider matters involving or affecting the purchase, sale, or lease of property, advanced construction planning, the investment of public funds, or other matters involving commercial competition, which if made public might adversely affect the financial or other interest of the county. Is there anything?
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Quick update, we did, the architect did issue substantial completion, which the date of it was May 1st. So they've sent that over to the contractors to finish out the punch list and everything they need to do. Other than that, we are in contact with different moving companies that are coming in to try to get us prices of what it would cost for them to move us next door when that time comes.
Okay,
That's all I have of that.
sooner rather than later. Okay, we have nothing under number 9. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Number 10, review, discuss, consider the memorandum of agreement from the Extension Service Committee.
Motion approved, please. It's the same thing every year.
Motion to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Review, discuss, number 11, review, discuss reallocating ARPA funds to help with cost associated with the sewer project. It's already been voted on. I believe this was Mr. Hinkle's.
This was Commissioner item, and as it states, he wanted to look at allocating some of the money from ARPA funds to help pay for the third street.
Motion done. I'm done.
Okay, we'll move on to number 12, because there's really no action to take on 11. Review, discuss, consider the reappointing of Roger Gay to the Lake Floyd Public Service District term June 1st, 2023 to June 1, 2029. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Review, discuss, consider request to travel for Trevor Vance, 911, June 16th to the 23rd, the NENA 2023 Conference and Expo, Grapevine, Texas.
Yeah, this one I recommend us approving. The total estimated cost to the county is $1,632, but Mr. Vance has received a $1,000 stipend to help pay for expenses associated with this.
Motion approved the additional cost.
Motion to approve number 13. Is there any discussion? Jim, did you want to speak to this?
Hi, Susan, can you hear me? Okay, just adding on to that, Mr. Vance did win a scholarship, which they call it a scholarship. And as Laura said, it's actually a stipend where they will reimburse him directly for the first $1,000 of expenses. And they do cover the cost of registration for the conference itself. That's all I have.
Trevor told me that he had applied for a grant. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? We already did that, didn't we? Okay. Motion carries. Nobody's opposed. Okay, number 14, review, discuss, consider executing formal agreement with CSXM and making escrow payment to CSX for acquisition of all CSX parcels located in or near Wilsonburg, West Virginia for western connection of the Harrison County Rail Trail System. Potential executive session pursuant to West Virginia Code 69A4B9 to consider matters involving or affecting the purchase, sale, or lease of property, advanced construction planning, the investment of public funds, or other matters involving commercial competition, which if made public might adversely affect the financial or other interest of the state or any political subdivision.
Motion approved,
What do we approve?
purchase of the property.
So CSX has come back to the county with final agreements, and for the commission today is the final agreements as prepared by CSX. And if you execute the agreement and move it forward, the county will have to make the escrow payments. And we would then go through the due diligence with Thrasher, which we talked about before. Survey, environmental, remediation, capping plan. And we would look to close in the next 6 months on the acquisition. And these are the sections in or near Wilsonburg, except for the parcels owned by Ron Lane and or Chris Lane. But this would close a substantial gap.
How much should we discuss would be the explanation for Thrasher?
So the Thrasher, the escrow payments to CSX is 245. The Thrasher estimate is broken down by type. The subtotal was $205,000. We have a grant for 144. And a DOH enhancement grant. But the Thrasher costs involve environmental work, a boundary survey, which is necessary to formally prepare and execute the deed. Some general work related to bridge and structure inventory, specifically what's out there, what the condition is, what's the life on it, what do we need to spend on the bridges to get them kind of up to par, like we did in the southern section historically, as well as the soil management plan, which is a requirement of CSX in terms of the capping. Chad, is that fair?
Yes.
But we would need to be ready to make the escrow payment and to immediately start on the survey work in particular, because it's a very, don't want to say difficult. We've been gathering the historic rail maps kind of over the course of the negotiation. But what I'll say is there have been some historical tie-in issues with the property boundaries out there. So it's going to take some time on the survey.
The motion's been made. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, number 15, review, discuss, consider Kroger, West Virginia statewide opioid settlement agreement.
Madam President, this is the settlement agreement that we have signed in the past with all the different smaller entities for the opioid settlement. So this is just the standard agreement that we get from our attorneys to sign so we can move forward with the
It's been
Kroger settlement.
reviewed and what's a pleasure? Sign.
Motion to approving your signature.
A motion to approve and a fixed signature. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 16, administrators report.
I do have a few quick things. One, this week is National Police Week, and I want to thank all of our men and women in blue that serve and protect us each and every day. They deserve recognition.
Not only in blue, they're different colors.
Yes, other colors as well.
Law enforcement. Sorry,
We have green, we have everything,
That's right.
but yes, for law enforcement, we appreciate them very much. We do have openings for part-time maintenance for the courthouse and Parks and Rec. So we still have a few openings to fill there, and if you knows anyone, please have them fill out an application that can be found on the website, or they can stop there in the commission office and pick that up, so we can get these positions filled. We have a meeting today about a SNPS program, and the SNPS program is actually a group out of Morgantown that has a grant to come to Harrison County, catch feral cats, neuter or spay them, and then re-release them. So that'll help. And it's, you know, it's free here for Harrison County. So that's a wonderful thing that we can benefit from. Auditor's office this year, we're in the process of getting audited for 2021 and 22. Remind everyone that we have an OpenGov website where you can see our financials at any time at harrisoncounty.wv.opengov.com. The Third Street Sewer Project is coming along. They've been filling in, and hopefully, if they didn't finish it yesterday, today they'll finish laying the pipe, and we can get moving on that. Hopefully, we can get Third Street back open soon. And the IT intern started last week, and I think everyone is happy with having them here, and they have been already a great benefit, even in the short time that they've been here so far. So thank you for approving IT interns. And that is all I have.
The sewer is not going to have to go down the alley.
That is correct. We do not have to go as deep, so it's not going to have to go.
I want to make sure you,
Down the alley.
That's good.
make sure Charles knew that. Okay, I have nothing, Mr. Commissioner.
The only thing I have is confirm, Chad, Mr. Miller, this will get us now, once the bridge is built in Clarksburg, we'll be able to go to Meadowbrook, Parkersburg, and from Meadowbrook to PA. So we're on our way to having a completed rail trail with one bridge missing in Meadowbrook.
There's some gaps at Meadowbrook, yes.
Okay,
It's gonna change your trail system.
but once we hammer this home in Clarksburg, we're gonna be able to go clear to Parkersburg to Ohio.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Clarksburg to Ohio, that sounds good. And then it'll be Shinston to PA with a gap in between called Meadowbrook. Am I missing anything? Okay. And Laura, kudos to you. The auditor's office said you're going to be very clean on it. That's all I have, Madam President.
I have nothing.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.